Yo, what's up everybody, it's G.I. Wilson here, and welcome back to Tech Curiosity Stream, your one-stop shop for all things tech. Today, we're diving deep into a world that powers, well, pretty much everything around us. Coding. Now you might be thinking, coding, that's for super geniuses and hackers in dark rooms, right? Wrong. We're about to demystify this whole coding thing, break it down into bite-sized pieces, and show you how even you, yes you, can learn the basics, no matter your tech skills. Over the next 16 minutes, we're gonna unpack what coding actually is, explore its crazy history, and even look at some of the languages you can start learning. By the end, you'll have a whole new appreciation for the code that runs your favorite apps, websites, and maybe even your toaster. So grab your energy drinks, fire up those laptops, and get ready to unlock the code because things are about to get seriously interesting. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any future tech deep dives. Let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off by answering the big question. What is coding? Forget those Hollywood stereotypes of people furiously typing green text on black screens. Coding is way more creative and way less intimidating than that. At its core, coding is basically just giving instructions to a computer. Think of it like writing a recipe, but instead of telling your friend how to bake a cake, you're telling a computer how to run a program, display a website, or even control a robot. Every time you open an app, browse the web, or even use a digital thermostat, you're interacting with code. It's the invisible force that powers our digital world, and trust me, it's everywhere. From the simplest smartphone game to the most complex AI algorithms, it all comes down to lines of code telling machines what to do. And here's the cool part, anyone can learn to code. It's like learning a new language, but instead of talking to people, you're talking to computers. And the best part is, computers actually do what you tell them to, most of the time. Now that we've got a handle on what coding is, let's take a trip down memory lane and explore some of the biggest milestones in coding history. Buckle up, because we're about to time travel through the evolution of this game-changing field. Our journey begins in the 1940s, the era of giant room-sized computers that used punch cards for input. Imagine trying to debug a program back then. You'd literally be pulling moths out of the circuitry. No, seriously, that's where the term computer bug comes from. Fast forward to the 1970s and the coding scene got a major upgrade with the introduction of the C programming language. C was a game changer because it allowed programmers to write code that was closer to the language computers actually understood, making software development faster and more efficient. Think of it this way. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone who speaks a completely different language. You could use hand gestures and try to communicate basic ideas, but it would be slow and frustrating. C was like finding a common language that both humans and computers could understand, making the whole communication process a lot smoother. You're ready to jump into the matrix, but where do you even start? Choosing a coding language can feel like stepping into a phone store with a million different models, each promising to be the best. Don't worry, we're going to break down the hottest languages in the game, each with its own strengths and quirks. Think of it like picking your weapon or wand if you're feeling magical for the digital world. First up, we've got Python. If coding languages were cars, Python would be that reliable, easy-to-drive sedan that everyone loves. It's known for its clean syntax, which basically means it's easy to read and write, kind of like plain English. Python is super versatile too. You can use it for web development, data analysis, even artificial intelligence. It's like the Swiss Army knife of coding. Plus, it has a massive online community. So if you get stuck, which you will, trust me, there's always someone to throw you a lifeline. Next, we've got JavaScript, the language that brings the web to life. If Python's the reliable sedan, JavaScript's the flashy sports car, all about speed and dynamic features. It's what makes websites interactive and engaging. Think animations, real-time updates, and those annoying pop-up ads you just can't seem to block. JavaScript is also the backbone of many popular frameworks and libraries like React, Angular, and Vue.js, which basically give you pre-built tools to build complex web applications faster. Now, let's talk about Java, the language that built the digital world as we know it. It's like the reliable truck of the coding world, powerful, dependable, and built to last. Java is known for its robustness and security, which is why it powers everything from Android apps to enterprise software. Think banking systems, stock exchanges, and those government websites that never seem to load. It's not the flashiest or the easiest to learn, but once you master Java, you'll be set for a long and lucrative career. We interact with code every single day, from the moment we check our phones in the morning to the last Netflix episode we binge before bed. But have you ever stopped to think about what's happening behind the scenes, the lines of code that make all that magic possible? In this chapter, we're going behind the curtain, dissecting some of your favorite apps and websites to see how code brings them to life. Let's start with Instagram, the app that launched 1,000 selfies and made filters a way of life. Behind those perfectly curated feeds and double-tap-worthy photos lies a complex ecosystem of code. Instagram's backend, the engine that powers the entire platform, is built primarily on Python. This is where all the heavy lifting happens, storing your photos, managing your followers, and yes, even counting those precious likes. Next up, we have Netflix, the streaming giant that redefined how we consume entertainment. Ever wondered how Netflix seems to know exactly what you want to watch even before you do? That's the power of algorithms and machine learning, all driven by code. Netflix uses sophisticated algorithms written in languages like Python and Java to analyze your viewing habits, predict your preferences, and recommend shows you're likely to binge watch. Finally, let's talk about something a little more futuristic: Tesla Autopilot. This revolutionary technology is pushing the boundaries of what's possible with code, using sensors, cameras, and a whole lot of algorithms to navigate roads without human intervention. Tesla's autopilot system relies heavily on C++, a powerful language known for its speed and efficiency, to process massive amounts of data from the car's sensors in real time. By now, you're probably thinking, okay, coding's cool and all, but how the heck do I actually learn this stuff? Good news, you don't need to be a math whiz or a tech genius to dive into the world of programming. In this chapter, we'll explore the different paths you can take to master the art of coding, from free online resources to interactive boot camps. The internet is a goldmine of free coding resources, offering everything from bite-sized tutorials to comprehensive courses. Websites like Codecademy, Khan Academy, and Free Code Camp provide interactive lessons that let you learn by doing, which is key to mastering any new skill. And let's not forget the power of YouTube. There are countless channels dedicated to teaching coding concepts, walking you through projects, and even sharing tips and tricks from seasoned developers. The best way to learn to code is by, well, coding. Start with small, manageable projects that pique your interest. Always wanted to build a simple calculator, a meme generator, or maybe even a game? These beginner-friendly projects will introduce you to the fundamentals of coding while letting you build something tangible. Remember, coding is all about problem solving. As you tackle more complex projects, you'll develop your logical thinking skills and become more comfortable with the trial-and-error nature of programming. Be prepared for a bumpy ride. Coding is full of errors, bugs, and those moments where you want to chuck your computer out the window. But trust me, it's all part of the process. Every error you encounter, every bug you squash, is an opportunity to learn and grow as a developer. Alright, let's talk about the future, and no, I'm not talking about flying cars, yet. We're talking about AI coders. These aren't robots stealing your Red Bull and keyboard, they're more like super-powered assistants. Imagine an autocomplete that doesn't just finish your sentences but writes entire functions based on what you're trying to do. That's what tools like GitHub Copilot are doing right now. They learn from millions of lines of code and then help you write better code faster. Pretty wild, right? But hold on, don't go full Terminator mode just yet. Will AI replace coders entirely? I highly doubt it. Coding is about problem solving and creativity, and AI for now is just really good at following instructions. Think of it this way: AI can handle the repetitive stuff, the boilerplate code, basically the digital grunt work. This frees us up to focus on the big picture, the innovative stuff, the things that actually require a human brain. Next up, we're diving into the quantum realm. And no, this isn't about Ant-Man writing JavaScript. Quantum computing is about harnessing the bizarre laws of quantum mechanics to do things that regular computers can only dream of. Instead of bits, which are either 0 or 1, we're talking about qubits, which can be both 0 and 1 at the same time. Yeah, I know quantum physics is weird, but the possibilities? Mind-blowing. We're talking about cracking the toughest encryption algorithms, designing life-saving drugs, and maybe even simulating the entire universe. Okay, maybe not that last one. Yet. But for gamers, here's the kicker: quantum computers could mean insanely fast processing speeds and graphics that would make even the most powerful GPUs weep. Imagine a world where lag is a distant memory, and every game runs at 12K resolution with a bazillion frames per second. Now what if I told you that you could build an entire app without writing a single line of code? No, I'm not messing with you. No-code and low-code platforms are exploding in popularity, and for good reason. These tools are like drag-and-drop Lego sets for building software. You can create websites, apps, even automate tasks, all with a visual interface. Think Wix or Squarespace, but on steroids. This is huge for accessibility because it empowers anyone, regardless of their technical background, to bring their ideas to life. Want to launch your own online store? No problem. Need a custom CRM for your business? Done. But here's the thing. While no-code is incredibly powerful for certain tasks, it does have its limitations. You're essentially working within the constraints of that platform, and complex projects might still require some actual coding. So, with all this talk about AI, quantum computers, and no-code platforms, does this mean that the future of coding is all about robots taking over? Definitely not. Remember, technology is just a tool, and like any tool, it's only as good as the person wielding it. Human creativity, problem-solving skills, and the ability to think outside the box will always be in high demand. AI can help us write code faster, but it can't come up with the next viral app idea. Quantum computers can process information at lightning speed, but they can't design user interfaces that people actually enjoy using. And no-code platforms can empower anyone to build simple apps, but they can't replace the need for experienced developers to tackle complex challenges. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the self-doubt in your head. You might be thinking, MKBHD, isn't it too late for me to jump into this coding thing? Let me stop you right there. First of all, stop calling me MKBHD, it's weird. Second, and more importantly, age is just a number, just like the lines of code in your first website. Don't let it hold you back. The tech world is full of stories of people who started coding later in life and absolutely crushed it. Case in point, the first Google employee hired to write code, Steve Sharipa, was in his 40s when he joined. So whether you're fresh out of high school, switching careers in your 30s, or finally pursuing your passion for coding in your retirement, there's a place for you at the table. Trust me, the tech world needs more diverse perspectives, and your life experiences are valuable assets. Next up, let's talk about gear, or rather, the lack thereof. I know what you're thinking, coding's expensive, right? I need a top-of-the-line MacBook Pro, a triple-monitor setup, and maybe one of those fancy ergonomic chairs that cost more than my car. Hold your horses, tech enthusiast. While having a decent setup is nice, it's by no means a requirement to get started with coding. Remember, this isn't a flex your setup competition, it's about learning the skills and building cool stuff. You can learn to code on practically anything these days, from a budget-friendly Chromebook to a Raspberry Pi that costs less than your morning coffee. Heck, you can even start coding on your phone with the right apps. The point is, don't let the perceived cost of entry be a barrier to entry. Focus on the learning resources and the projects you want to build, and the rest will fall into place. Alright, let's address the fear that's probably lurking in the back of your mind, the fear of failure. Listen, coding is hard, like really hard. You're going to encounter bugs, errors, and moments where you question your sanity. But here's the secret. Every single coder, from the ones building self-driving cars to the ones making your favorite mobile games, has been in your shoes. They've all stared at a screen full of error messages, wondering what on earth they've gotten themselves into. The difference is they didn't give up. They embraced the struggle, they learned from their mistakes, and they kept on coding. Remember, coding is all about problem solving, and every error message is just another puzzle to solve. So embrace the inevitable failures, because that's where the real learning happens. And hey, at least you're not coding live in front of millions of people. Well, unless you decide to stream your coding journey, in which case, more power to you. Finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the one exception to the everyone starts somewhere rule, Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, the Zuck himself started coding in his dorm room and built an empire. But you know what? Good for him. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Focus on your journey, your progress, and your goals. Remember, coding is a marathon, not a sprint, and there's no need to rush. Take your time, learn at your own pace, and most importantly, have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, coding is about creating something new, something innovative, something that solves a problem or brings joy to others. And that's something worth striving for, whether you're coding the next Facebook or a simple website for your grandma's cat photos. And that's your 16 minutes crash course in coding. If your brain's buzzing, smash that like button. Share this video and subscribe if you haven't. Oh, and ring the bell. In the coming weeks, we have cybersecurity and game development tutorials coming your way. Thanks for hanging with us, future code wizard. Remember, every line of code you write is a step toward building the future. So keep tinkering, keep breaking stuff, and, as always, stay curious. See you in the next video.